Hello everyone there in YouTube world. This is Oliver G from the Earful Tower. You're about to join us for a walk in the delightful 15th arrondissement. Specifically, what we're looking at now is the quite unknown island, the Ile Aux Cygnes. It's not extremely popular. As you can see now, we're looking at the Statue of Liberty replica, of which there are like 8 in Paris, but this is the biggest one. So we're going to start here. We're going to walk you down along this Ile aux Cygnes all the way towards the lookout for the Eiffel Tower. And what you're about to hear is my wife and I discussing our 24 hours in this very district. And then all the things we did, all the things we recommend for you, especially including this island walk, which I think is just fantastic. And then we're going to give our ranking of the neighborhood at the end. This is from the Paris Countdown season on the podcast. And this YouTube season is brought to you by Live Tours, who I asked them, what's your top recommendation in the 15th arrondissement? And they said, if you're the museum-going type, then you must drop in on the Musée Bourdelle. It is a wonderful collection in the former studios of Antoine Bourdelle, a talent in his own right, and also a student of Auguste Rodin. It has been extensively remodeled, this museum, and it includes works by greats such as Eugène Carrière, Eugène Delacroix, and of course, Rodin. This museum is free and it's open from Tuesday through Sunday. Once you've seen a few sculptures by Bourdelle and Rodin, you'll be primed to immerse yourself in the Rodin Museum in the 7th arrondissement, which is full of breathtaking works. If you're interested in learning more about life, historical context, and art of Rodin, be sure to join us on the tour of the Rodin Museum, which, incidentally, I've linked in the description below, as well as all the tours from livetours.com. Thank you to them for sponsoring this season on YouTube. As for you, enjoy the rest of this walk and enjoy hearing Lina and I talking about our findings in this lovely arrondissement of Paris. Hello everyone, you're listening to the Earful Tower podcast. My name is Oliver G.
I am Lina Norden G.
And this is a show about Paris.
Yes.
This season we're doing what we call the Paris Countdown, where we're going through all the arrondissements one by one. And to give you a little bit of a clue what's coming up today, what do the following words mean to you, Lina? Beehive, swans, automobile factory workers.
Oh, okay.
A bit of good news. Did I say swans?
You did.
And a balloon that doesn't always fly.
Oh, is it a murder mystery?
No.
Oh.
It is the 15th arrondissement, of course.
Oh.
All these are things. Lena and murder mysteries, goodness me. All these are things that we visited in the 15th, and we're going to tell you about it. But first, we have not really a jingle. We have intro music by
the one and only
Pres Maxon.
Pres Maxon.
A.k.a. the Earful Tower's composer.
Sounds great.
Now, I'm not going to tell you guys what this song is. It's his take on a popular French song, but it's going to relate to something later in the episode. So you guys who are into music can try and figure it out, and you might already know what the...
Is there another murder mystery?
Oh my god. Hit the music. Great song. Good job, Press.
Yeah, very good.
We'll say this, and we won't dwell on it. The singer, very controversial past.
Yeah, not Pres.
Not Press.
No.
Well, I don't know much about Press past. But the band. But we're not going to get into that. What I will say is the name of that song is Le Vent nous portera.
And it's a clue.
A clue about something that,
may or may not have happened.
So today's episode is about the 15th arrondissement. If you're just tuning in for the first time, I'd almost recommend going back and listening from the 20th, because we're going all the way through. But before I even sort of start talking about the 15th, I want to do a quick shout out. Hello to all the new Patreon subscribers. You guys are running this steamboat, so thank you very much. But secondly, I know we said we're not going to read out emails and letters and stuff, but there's one that really made me laugh.
Okay.
And I think it deserves a shout out because it's a little bit different. It's from Betsy Schaefer. And she wrote on the Patreon member page. She wrote lots of nice things. I'm not even going to get into it, but she said that she's been listening and re-listening in preparation for a trip to Paris while swimming every day. Mm-hmm. And I was like, listening. I didn't know you could even listen to
underwater.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know you could listen while swimming. This is, I guess she has AirPods on or something.
I guess so.
And
but maybe she's doing like the, this nice stretched neck kind of
breaststroke with her head out of the water. But
and not like the splashy kind.
Well, I responded, I'm really glad to hear that we're making it underwater. And she says, I remember you were once asking where listeners listens from. I was doing laps at the time. She said I was doing laps at the time. In the pool, and I nearly laughed out loud, which is not a good idea underwater.
Oh, no.
So we should try and make Betsy laugh right now. Maybe that Atlantis gag will just have done it. Anyway, we shan't dwell on that. Thanks for the email, Betsy. What I do want to talk about is the 15th arrondissement, and instead of us giving our sort of first impressions, I figured a good way to do it is to ask the one and only Fox, an Australian guy from a cafe called Good News Coffee Shop. And I asked him to explain the 15th for anyone who's never heard about it. Here's what he said.
Yeah, the 15th, how would I describe it? I think it's often a bit forgotten over here in this corner of Paris. People tend to not journey to the 15th to visit the neighbourhood, apart from maybe going to the Eiffel Tower. It's a great part of town. You have all the benefits of being within the city. It's got quite a lot of green spaces and a great selection of coffee, as you know. But yeah, I've really enjoyed living here. It's always fun when you're walking around and all of a sudden, out of the corner of your eye, you see the Eiffel Tower just standing tall right there down the end of one street. It's always kind of nice to see the tower. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a gem, I think. A bit of a gemstone in terms of Paris quartier. It's quite residential and family-oriented, so it's a little bit calmer, I find, over this part of town, which I like. And yeah, it's just, it's got a lot going for it, the 15th.
Australian accent. Yeah, another Australian.
Friendly chap.
And he is a good point. We did see a lot of the Eiffel Tower as we were walking around. So geographically, if you guys are imagining, you're looking at a map, the 15th is just south of the river and on the western side of Paris. It's quite a big arrondissement. And you're going to like this, Lina. I asked Fox, I said, if you could compare the 15th to a type of coffee.
Oh, I love this.
You love it because you scripted this
first. I just love it, yeah.
I said, what would the 15th be as a coffee? Is what he said.
What kind of coffee would the 15th be? Well, it would have to be a flat white, given our Aussie heritage over here. And there's also the Australian Embassy, of course.
Ah, okay.
Flat white.
Oh, your favourite.
Incidentally, that's what we had when we visited. So, Good News Coffee Shop and really nice.
Yeah, really lovely.
The English rugby team was there.
I know.
When we were there.
And it's a pretty slim door, and they...
Well, the door was half closed, but they still tried to get out. They're enormous.
They were wide guys,
yeah. Some of them couldn't fit.
No.
But the coffee shop is great. And Flat White is a good place to start. We even had lunch there, and the food was delicious.
Perfect.
Fox, the owner.
Highly recommend this place.
Let's talk a little bit more about the district.
Yes.
In my opinion, I felt, compared to the other ones that we've been to, that this one didn't have a clear identity. You know?
Funny you say that, because I tried to, when I think back at it, I couldn't really pinpoint it's this, or the 16th they had the posh ladies. I couldn't even really find.
True, 18th
it was the families, there were lots of younger families.
Yeah, but even the like in some of the other districts we've been to, there's a style of buildings.
Yeah,
there wasn't a single style.
Maybe
here.
Because it's so big.
Yeah, and the further you walked away from the Eiffel Tower, which is the area where we're kind of staying, it got into sort of bigger, almost I'd say skyscrapers. Not like in some, not like New York skyscrapers, but just
much bond the 6th floor. What do you call it? Like
high rises.
High rises. Yeah. Apartment blocks.
It was very it kind of wasn't the Paris that you would imagine.
It was just big in a different way to the big boulevards. It wasn't like that. And I feel like in a way it was kind of was kind of a shut arrondissement in a sense that it was more private.
Well, it's funny you say it because a lot of stuff was shut for us.
Yeah, maybe that's why I feel like it was shut.
And I think that this episode is going to sort of reflect both like people's trips to Paris, what they can be like, but also how Paris can be.
Yeah.
Even when you plan things,
even when you're prepared,
you
can't be 100%. Yeah.
But let's start. I think we can do this bit quickly. Where we stayed was a boutique hotel. It was the first time that when booking, I dropped that I'm a podcaster, and the reason I did it is because the place we stay, which is called the Relais in French, Relais 12 bis. Weird name, Relais 12 bis. When they have BIS after a number in French, it means it's like saying 12A and 12B. Yeah. And you can only book it for 2 nights, and we only wanted it for 1. And for me, like the hotel scene was a bit sort of weird in the 15th arrondissement, and I wanted this one because it was really close to the Parc,
the Eiffel Tower,
where
the
it was all
border,
happening.
and everything.
And I just called and I said, look, I'll be honest, I'm doing a story, and if you can make it 1 night as an exception. So I kind of regret doing that, and I don't think I'm going to do it again, because then they gave us the normal price on everything.
Yeah, there were no freebies.
No, as usual. But then they kind of tried to sell it to us the whole time. And I was like, I've already bought it.
It backfired.
Yeah. The staff were really lovely, but they kept
Yeah, they were like, oh, and here's the new air conditioning unit. Yeah. And you're like, I don't really care.
I learned from, in the past I've done stuff where, especially in hotels, a couple times where you get a free night in a hotel and the deal is you promote them or whatever. And it's, if you're not in this world at all, dear listener, it's quite an ugly thing sometimes. Is the hotel owner will take you in and then they show you everything. Like they go, here's the bed. The beds are from 2020. And they check that you're making notes or something, like if you're a travel journalist.
Take a picture.
Yeah. Are you going to take a picture? No, okay, we'll go on to the next room. Here are the other rooms. And you're like, what? But in this instance, we paid for it and we're trying to give a legit review. And they were telling us lots of stuff. So that was...
Yeah, it was kind of like the worst of both worlds.
But the hotel was really nice, and it's been...
And the owners were really nice. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it like that. No.
But I backfired myself.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's a boutique hotel. It's one of those old houses with beautiful mosaic tiles on the interior. And it's a family that owns the whole building.
Yeah.
And the bottom floor is 4 or 5 bedrooms, a shared sort of dining area. And it does the trick. If you want to feel like you're living in old school Paris near the Eiffel Tower, it's a good way to go.
Yeah, sure.
But if I have to be honest, the one in the 16th that we stayed in,
just totally different.
Go there
league.
First. Yeah. Okay, so there's the hotel tip. All this will be in the show notes and on the website. Let's move on to some of the other stuff that we did. One really cool thing in the neighborhood is the Poilâne bakeries.
Oh, so good.
And there was one near the hotel, just beautiful. Beautiful. The stuff they make is really, it tastes delicious, but it looks good too. I'm imagining the window display. They put all their bread in the window display.
It just has this old world feel to it. I don't know. It really works.
And that one,
it's beautiful. It smells delicious. Yeah. It is delicious.
Staff are really friendly too.
I know.
Even the shop was set out nicely.
And now you might think, what makes it so special to another, just a normal bakery around the corner?
Yeah.
And what would you say to that, Oliver?
Well, I think it's the quality.
Yeah.
It was just a different level. Yeah. It was on a different level. And I know there's a huge history. It's a whole family, the Poilâne family. And I think different sisters, brother, father, whatever, run different ones. And this one that we went to, we actually looked at the other one too, near the Georges Brassens Park, which was also beautiful. I don't know, it's just on a different level. I think a lot of bakeries in Paris are kind of remind me of pizza shops in every other country. They know there's a formula.
Yeah.
They know that there's a good recipe for baguettes. They know that people need it.
Yeah,
you
stick to the classics and you don't really go further.
But even in...
And it works.
Yeah. But Poilâne, I hope I'm saying it right, Poilâne, they sort of went above and beyond. We got those, I guess they're kind of shortbread biscuits.
Yeah.
50 of them.
I know. They were like, do you want a big packet or a small packet? We were like, how big is a big packet? And it was...
Yeah.
Huge.
It's like what you'd bring to your office if there were 80 people working in your office. And we're like, we're just 2. They're like, take a small package. It was 50.
Yeah.
And Lina wouldn't let us share them with anyone.
Delicious. Delicious.
I hate to be negative again.
Oh no, what now?
But one other negative thing did happen. And I want this episode and this show to be honest. That's why we're going and doing everything to give you guys the tips. We've had great help from Charlotte in researching everything. And she found a real banger here. She found this cooperative artist residence way out in the corner.
Oh, it looked so cool.
And it's made, it's called La Ruche, like the beehive. And it's in the shape, kind of in the shape of a hive, right?
Yeah. I mean, isn't it an hexagonal building, or like a set of them?
Yep.
And they're from the World Fair.
Yeah, the big World Fair from 120 years ago near the Eiffel Tower.
So it looked amazing.
Yeah, so someone
and it has artists living in them, working there.
And someone had rescued this building, and I was researching it too after Charlotte found it on the internet. I found the pictures of it. I did the Google Street View, the Google Map view. I was like, wow, that is a cool building. I can't wait to get inside. Check the opening times. Walked all the way there.
Took an hour.
Yeah, because the other thing is we walk everywhere because we want to explore everything, right? And we rock up, go into the little gift shop, and I was like, hey, how do I get in there to take some pictures and so on? She goes, you can't go in there. People live there. I was like, well, what did I walk all the way for? She goes, well, and I was like, but
so the thing that was open was like this tiny little gallery, artist gallery, with some pieces of art, but it was...
And no offense to those artists, but there's so much world-class art all over Paris that you would be insane to walk to the far edge of the 15th to find that. Like, for me, the attraction was... And their website really promotes this. Like,
it was bizarre. Yeah. It looked like you could go in. Yeah. But no, she looked at... like when we said that we want to go in and have a look, she was like... She had this disbelief in her eyes. You were like, how dare you think? On earth?
And then I said it again. I was like, can I just go take some pictures? I've got this podcast. And she was like, no, absolutely not. They it was essentially the mood was like,
promoting it then? Stop promoting it.
And so we won't promote it. Don't go all the way out there.
Nah.
And the other thing is, like, if I get in somewhere by saying I'm a podcaster, it's cool to be able to share the story, but then you guys at home won't be able to visit it.
Yeah.
This season is about finding things for you guys to visit. So this one, I wouldn't even say it's worth looking at.
No, definitely not.
I'll share a
and there's
picture or
nothing
something.
really around either, so once you're out there, it's, it's not...
The only thing
amazing.
That's nearby is that big park, Georges Brassens, which is quite beautiful.
Yeah.
But really, save your time. And
it does have beehives. The real kind.
Oh, yeah, in the park.
Yeah, it does.
So these are all the clues from the intro. Beehive, we've done.
What was the next one?
I said good news as well.
Yeah, coffee shop. Very good.
The next clues are coming up. But the nighttime, this is the best part of the visit for us. We got a babysitter in.
Thank you, Marie.
This was cool. The Tour Montparnasse, famous building in Paris.
Big, high
People hate
building.
it. People hate that building.
Controversial building.
I don't hate it at all.
Me neither.
I'm just like,
I don't mind it.
I'm like big skyscraper.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
It's the needle in the haystack that is Paris.
Wow.
It's a very big needle.
Some people call it the
That quote didn't even make sense.
No, it worked.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I was thinking about some people call it the packet that the Eiffel Tower came in. Have you heard that?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's
but
funny.
if you never heard, you don't know what we're talking about. It's this massive 56 floor kind of black skyscraper, very modern looking. It doesn't fit in with Paris at all.
No.
But the views from the top are exceptional.
So good.
And
there's a bar, a restaurant.
And a
bar
restaurant.
At
And
top.
we didn't book a place for a drink, which came back to bite us. Book a place to drink or eat there.
highly recommend that.
If you try and walk, like we walked up there and we're going to lift with a bunch of other people, and everyone's shuffling to the front once you get out of the lift. That was our first mistake.
Yeah.
And when we got there, the guy's like, "What do you mean you didn't book?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. Yeah, there was a bar." It was the first time in my life, folks, that I almost bribed someone.
Yeah. It wasn't pretty.
It reminds me of the time I almost bribed someone to get into Silencio.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Also not pretty.
That was a good story, though. Have we told that on the podcast before?
I don't know.
Like, long story short, I sort of threatened to give money to this guy in a really funny way. And he, and Lina and Eddie...
So embarrassing.
Well, I'll tell the story. There was this really fancy place and they were turning people away, cool nightclub.
It was really late.
Yeah.
It was like 2 in the morning or something.
And you and Eddie had given up. And I said to the guy...
We were like, let's go.
This is like 3 or 4 years ago. And I said, can we come in? He says, no. And I said, well, we're famous. We're kind of a big deal in Australia. We weren't. Still not. And he goes, I don't care. And I said, but maybe you care about our money. And that was when you and Eddie really left it.
We're going.
It's a huge security guard, didn't have much time for this. And he goes, your money...
I don't know what made you keep
I don't know.
on going.
It was funny. It was like when I try and sell books to bookshops.
You're just
I
not
just
interested.
didn't. Yeah. So I said to him, he goes, I don't care about your money. It means nothing to me. And I said, that's because it's not in your pocket yet.
Oh my God.
And he looked at me, and then he just started laughing. He goes, come in. And we got in. It was amazing.
And no money exchange.
No money. Except for we bought a drink. I remember it being really expensive back then. Anyway, speaking of expensive, the cocktails at the Ciel de Paris are expensive and they're disgusting.
Yeah, I wouldn't say disgusting, but they're not great.
Compared to last week at Cravon, which were excellent cocktails.
Yeah, okay, they were
like made with
then.
love and care, and they're the same price. These
no,
were
but
disgusting.
you know what these cocktails at the top of Montparnasse felt like? They felt like, you know, when you go to a resort, like a chartered resort holiday, and like, you know, on the busy touristy streets of a Greek island. Yeah, that's what you get.
Where are all these holidays you're taking? I don't know.
It's an imaginary one. It's imaginary.
It did.
I travel in my mind.
It felt pre-mixed, kind of.
Very pre-mixed.
And I don't care.
And very sweet.
I'm not a cocktail snob at all.
No. But stick to champagne if you're up there.
Good point.
Champagne with the Eiffel Tower sparkle.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
It's
not about the quality of the drink. You're up there for the view and nothing else. We didn't eat, so I don't know what the food's like. You'd have to be crazy to go up there expecting a good drink.
Yeah.
I think they're crazy for not taking it to the next level.
I know. It was weird.
They should
they should be like top standard up there.
Cravon.
Yeah.
Up there.
Oh my God.
And you pay twice as much?
It would work.
I think so.
Also, guys, when you book a table, make sure to ask for a table next to the windows.
Yeah.
Because some of the tables are really far in and you can't really see anything.
And some of the people were facing the wall.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that.
So that is kind of pointless.
It was a bit of a touristy spot.
It is a bit.
And it's right on the corner of the 15th. But I think in terms of, like, if you look at my website, the picture at the top of my website, like the header image, the banner image, that's taken from the window up there. And it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's
Paris
spectacular.
at night with the Eiffel Tower right in front of you. Whew, perfect.
And the lifts are pretty fun. The elevator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Your
so
ears pop.
your ears pop.
There's 56
The
floors.
small things in life, isn't it?
Keeping on the good vibe, the dinner we had was exceptional fun.
So good.
The Café du Commerce.
Café du Commerce. So this is back on like that, the more vibey part
right
of the 15th.
Right in the middle of the 15th.
Exactly.
Rue du Commerce it's called.
And
lots of shops during
it's really
the day.
nice.
Yeah, really cool for a walk. And this restaurant, someone who lives in the area had recommended it to us. And he explained it really well. He's like, if you're walking past it, you would never...
You'd never even see it.
You wouldn't even go in.
No. Because you can't see anything from the outside.
It reminds me of a cinema.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a cinema.
It was just like a long, badly lit corridor,
Yeah.
and it did not look interesting or enticing
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
But keep on walking.
When I say it reminds me of cinema, I mean like those old cinemas where you look in, it's just a room or whatever, and then you get your tickets and you go to the next bit where it all begins. It was exactly
and
like
then
that.
it's amazing.
Yeah. And it had to be like a 30-second walk before you get to the restaurant.
Yeah.
And once you get in there, it opens up like the inside of an old ship.
Exactly.
Right?
With balconies all the way around, 3 floors high.
Yeah. This was one of those very French, exceptionally French, very Parisian.
Not touristy.
Not touristy at all. And the waiters were exceptionally friendly. All of them.
So
And we had so many
good.
of them. Like really, really friendly.
It was really buzzing atmosphere in there as well.
Kind of like they were making those kind of like jokes that they must make every night, kind of friendly.
Yeah.
But
it worked.
But it worked.
Yeah.
So it
Worked
felt
totally fine.
touristy in that sense a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the guy said, what did he say when he took us up? He put us right on the edge, and he said something like "with a sea view," and I was like, "Yeah."
He
okay,
said that
that's not the
100
first time he
times.
said that.
But it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
And we felt really well looked after. The food was very classic French food.
Yeah.
Fish, we had like typical fish.
Yeah,
kind of.
remember I said when we were in there, I was like, it kind of feels like one of these bouillon de Pigalle or bouillon. I can't remember what they're all called.
Yeah,
but
that's
these,
what they're called. Châtier.
Yeah, right. And if you don't know what that means, it's kind of like, I wouldn't want to say canteen, but almost canteen.
and that's
style.
the history of this place too. You know that. That's what.
Really?
So it used to be. That was another one of the clues. Yeah, back in the boom of automobile.
Yeah.
Automobile. Why am I say automobile?
Automobile.
When they build all the cars, right?
Yeah.
Citroën, I think it was actually. All the workers would go into this building for they essentially made one meal and slosh it onto their plate. Next, like in a prison. So they all. I mean, I'm sure it was a lot lovelier than that.
Yeah.
And that was the history of the place. And going through the war, the same thing. They made cheap meals.
Yeah, because this is a really old place.
It's an institution even. And yet, a lot of people haven't heard of it.
So good. And there's a tree growing in the middle of the restaurant. There's a tree.
How lovely it was.
It's so
really
nice.
Beautifully lit. The bar is at the bottom. So
Yeah.
you're sitting looking down. You can see the bartender making the drinks. And it's not a flashy bartender. It's just a guy who's dedicated to his Kir Royales and gin and tonics.
Exactly. And how about the food? Did you like the food?
A+.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, it's not like Michelin star, and you shouldn't expect that either from this kind of place. But
Or from this kind of podcast.
But perfectly good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was one of
really
those-
nice.
I would recommend it. It's so often when we're doing... Because Lena and I are sort of living like tourists a little bit in our own city. Much more than we ever usually would. Because when we're going out and doing this stuff, and we're sharing all this stuff, so we're really like tourists when we go in. We're filming our meals, and we're like... And I find a lot of the time we're saying... we should bring our families here.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Exactly.
And this was one of those
and
places.
we're like, we should come here with a bunch of friends and family. And yeah.
And that has only happened maybe 3 or 4 times on this
Doesn't
trip
happen
so
often.
far.
So that says a lot.
That was a good one. We could have a list at the end of our sort of favorite places.
Yeah. Where to bring your friends and family.
You know what we could do at the very end? I'm just brainstorming here right now.
Yeah.
But how to spend a perfect week in Paris, right? So you pick your 7 or 5 favorite restaurants, lunch places, cafes, doesn't matter where they are, and just
Draw a map.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's see.
Okay.
If we're not too tired at the end of all this. Then we went home, crashed.
Yeah.
The next day, we did 2 things before we give our scores, which we've been doing every week. This is where we got the photographer. Not Augusta this week, Emily. And we had a 2-pronged plan. So the way it works when we get these photographers is because they can take way better pictures than we can. So we pick something that we're doing that's going to be really fun, really visual, really sharey. I was thinking about it on this podcast 4 or 5 years ago. I used to just interview someone, do a selfie at the end, and I had nothing to share. Now we've got cool stuff to share.
Yeah.
So we figured Emily could come for the walk along the Seine. We haven't talked about that yet. Down at the Seine, this arrondissement. Along this beautiful man-made island called Ile Aux Cygnes.
The Swan Island.
Swan Island.
Yeah.
That leads up to this huge replica of the Statue of Liberty. And then we'd get in that helium balloon that rises up. It's only been around for about 20 years, I think. It rises up way over Paris on a string and then comes back down.
So another view.
Imagine the pictures.
Yeah.
You'll have to.
Would have been very good. So this was supposed to be the focus.
And the
focal
finale.
point.
The focus
yes,
and the finale.
crescendo.
But let's start with the island.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It is one of the most overlooked walks in Paris. And
It's very slim. It's
yeah,
a slim island.
It's one path, basically,
Yeah.
isn't it? And it's really cool because it's one of those seasonal things. You go there in winter, there's no leaves on the trees. You see the Eiffel Tower and the Seine really, perfectly. You go there in the spring, like we were. Cherry blossoms are starting to come out. Beautiful flowers everywhere. Grassy, lovely. The summer, you can imagine.
It's a nice spot to see the seasons change.
What about the fall? Haven't even talked about the fall.
What about
It's
the fall?
it's this really natural, beautiful island. You got the Seine on both sides, and a great stroll.
We took that
We
on
took
the
that.
way
Great pictures.
to the other destination.
The balloon.
The balloon.
Now, because we did this early in the morning, and this is one of those things about when you travel to Paris yourself, you can't plan things. The balloon only flies when there's zero wind, because it's tethered. You know, it would just fly, it wouldn't fly away, but it would go off to the side, and all heck would break loose. Speaking of wind, it's coming through the open window. So when we arrived, right as they opened that day, they said, and we walked all the way there. They said, no, we're close.
They're like, not today.
So we got this great chance to walk up to the balloon and look at it.
And it looked really nice.
Yeah, but
big.
Can I recommend hiring a photographer and going out there for the day? I don't know.
And I mean, to stay on the positive side, we did get one huge view over Paris from the 15th.
Yes.
So
the Montparnasse
there's
Tower.
that.
So that will always be open if you guys want to guarantee a view. Otherwise, the Eiffel Tower is great, but it's not in the 15th.
And you can't see the Eiffel Tower
Of
from
course.
the Eiffel Tower.
So that helium balloon remains on my bucket list.
Yeah.
It's very elusive.
It is.
It is so elusive. So my tip would be, if you're planning to go up, every day when they open, they put it on their website if they're going to be going up and down. Because we got there so early, we couldn't have preempted it.
Yeah.
But anyway, a quick aside before we finish. Speaking of the 15th and things to do. One thing we didn't do on this visit that we've done before that's really cool is the Musée Bourdelle.
So, whoa, what a pronunciation.
Well, I didn't want to say bordel, which means brothel.
So you went hard on the R, on the rolling of the R. Okay.
But this is in the 15th, and it's an art museum from the French sculptor Antoine Bourdelle, and it's a lot of sculptures. A really beautiful
nice.
Building as well, isn't it?
Yeah, really, really nice place.
And fun story that I've kind of hinted at before, but I don't think we've ever told before. The reason that we went there was because a photographer got in touch with, was it you?
Yeah, I think so.
And this is like years back. And they said...
they wanted to have some photos for their portfolio, I think.
A lot of photographers come to Paris and they look on Instagram for couples.
Yeah.
And then they contact us and they go, I'll take free photos of you so I can use it for my portfolio. And every time I'm like, ugh.
We're like, ooh. But this time we're like, okay.
But this time,
why not?
because she had this vision, she goes, she was from Eastern Europe, and she had a vision of taking pictures inside a museum, right?
So we went intrigued.
So we go to this museum. She was lovely and she was a great photographer.
Good. Yeah.
But she was particularly fond of like really romantic, like smoochy pictures.
And very serious ones.
We said from the beginning, we're not doing smoochy pictures, and she's like, oh,
yeah,
that's what I really wanted.
You could see the hope just
So we kind of ended up like meeting halfway and doing like romantic.
We're like,
longing looks.
We're like, we can hold hands.
Yeah. So we're holding hands in this museum and
and staring away from the camera.
Yeah. And there was a security guard in the room who was like, "What are you doing?"
Because we had to sit down on the floor.
Oh yeah, she got us to sit. She's like, sit and hold hands. We're like, no, don't make us sit.
Please. She's like, it's gonna be great.
Some of the pictures were really cool.
Yeah.
Some of them weren't.
Some
weren't our
should not
style.
see the light of day.
And they won't.
No.
But we will share one or two of them. But the museum, really cool.
Very nice. And I mean, it's cool with the photographer if you want to do like a fun different photo shoot.
If that's you.
But you have to get the very patient guard.
Oh yeah.
Because we had that.
Because the guard was like, "Is this for professional reasons?" We're like, "Definitely not." Anyway, let's get on with our scores, Lina. If you're listening for the first time, this is where we rank the arrondissement on certain criteria every week. Lina and I do 5 categories out of 10. It adds up to something out of 100. And usually we're
very synchronized.
So here we go. Strollability.
I give it 3.
Me too.
Ooh.
Not very strollable.
Not hugely
That island walk was the redeeming feature.
Yeah.
But most of the arrondissement,
I like that, the area of the Commerce.
Yep.
That's nice.
That's the other redeeming feature.
And you got the Parc, Georges Brassens,
but compared to Montmartre or something, no. Affordability.
5.
Really? I put 8.
Really?
This is a big difference. And this needs to be discussed. Yeah.
Interesting. Because I thought, my reasoning was like, bang in the middle. That's a reasoning.
You mean the prices are all bang in the middle?
It's just kind of like you have some really expensive stuff like Montparnasse, like the cocktails.
Although they weren't even that crazy expensive, considering I figured. But I mean, I thought that the restaurant, I thought that restaurant was quite reasonably priced.
Yeah.
For being so cool.
That's what I meant as well.
I just figured that Montparnasse Tower wasn't really representative of the other things we saw in the district.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's an outlier.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
am I stuck with 5?
No, yeah, you're stuck with it. It's first
every
impressions.
week.
No, but also it's so close to the Eiffel Tower that anything, including our hotel that's closer, is going to be more expensive. So fair enough. Okay.
Okay.
Shareability?
5.
4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, close.
Okay.
Touristability?
I'm sticking with 5.
I put 3.
Really? Now you have to explain yourself.
Well, I mean, I think we did every touristy thing available. Montparnasse.
We really searched.
Montparnasse and the island. That was kind of it for tourists. You know, like if you compare it to like the 7th or the Marais, where there's 70,000 options for tourists.
Okay, if I was generous.
That's okay. It's nice.
This always happens. Every weekend I'm regretting.
Even out. What did you put about accessibility?
And what do you mean by accessibility?
I mean, like, first, when you're there, is it easy to get around, and is it close to the rest of Paris?
I put a 4.
I put a 3.
Okay.
What did yours add up to?
22.
21 for me. That's 43. Ooh, that's a bad score.
Yes.
But I think the 15th arrondissement is a place to live.
It's not for tourists.
It's not for
touristing.
I think if you are thinking to visit, you're not gonna find a vibe there like we said that we found in the 17th family vibe, 16th posh vibe.
It's too big. It's too few touristy things.
Yeah.
It's
and it's spread out. So there
it's
you
a
go.
5, bang in the middle.
Yeah. So that winds up the 15th. An unusual visit, but a fun one.
Yeah. One might say we failed to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But that's just part of it.
That's it.
And we did our best.
Coming next week is the 14th arrondissement, which we've already experienced. It was really fun. We got lots to share. And then obviously the 13th after that. Lina, thank you for being my guest.
Thank you.
And see you all next week.
Bye-bye.